Testosterone is not just a chemical circulating in the body, it is the very pulse of life that stirs within us, the primal energy that awakens our potential. When this energy flows naturally, brings strength, not just of muscle but of mind and spirit. It carries the fire of creativity, courage and the will to manifest our existence in this world. But today many live disconnected from this essential force. Our modern lives, filled with artificial demands and constant distractions, have dulled this flame. The relentless pressure, the hurried breaths, the loss of connection with the earth beneath our feet, all these silently drain this vital energy. It is not just a hormone, it is a reflection of how deeply we have forgotten the rhythm of life itself. To honor testosterone is to honor the balance within us. It is not a power to be controlled or suppressed, but a wild current to be understood and respected. The decline of this force is a quiet tragedy, for it carries with it the niching of our very aliveness. True vitality does not come from chasing after this force externally, but from nurturing the body, calming the mind and reconnecting with the natural world. When we breathe consciously, move with awareness and live with purpose, this energy flows freely again, bringing not just strength, but joy, clarity and profound well-being. In the end, testosterone is the life force that invites us to awaken, to stand tall and to live fully, rooted in the essence of our being, not lost in the chaos of the world. Testosterone is often misunderstood simply as a hormone, a biological chemical responsible for certain physical traits, but in reality, it is much more profound than that, flowing through the veins as a primal energy that awakens the very essence of life within us. This force stirs deep inside, beyond the muscle and bone, reaching into the core of our vitality and pushing the boundaries of what we believe possible, reminding us that life is not just to be lived but to be created and experienced fully. This life force is the spark that ignites the fire of creativity, urging the mind to break free from inertia and sculpt new ideas, new dreams and new paths that breathe meaning to our existence. And it is not confined to physical strength alone, but dances in the realm of thought and emotion, shaping how we face the world with courage and vision. When this energy pulses freely, it carries with it a sense of aliveness that fills every cell and drives us to expand beyond limitations imposed by fear or doubt. Vitality, the very breath of life, finds its source in this powerful current, weaving through the layers of our being, bringing vigor and enthusiasm to the waking day and resilience to the challenges that test our spirit. And it is the quiet voice that pushes us to rise when we fall, to keep moving even when the road ahead seems uncertain or steep. This force does not simply make us survive, it urges us to thrive, to reach heights not just measured by strength but by depth and intensity of presence. Yet in the modern world, this life force is often muted, obscured by the distractions and pressures that pull us away from our natural rhythm and disconnect us from the fundamental energies that sustain us. And so many wander through their days unaware that a vital flame flickers dimly within, waiting for recognition, care and respect. The decline of this energy is not a failure of biology alone, but a reflection of how far we have drifted from a life lived consciously and harmoniously with our own nature. Understanding testosterone as this profound life current calls for a deeper awareness, a shift from seeing it as a mere substance to honoring it as the pulse of our creativity, drive and purpose that must be nurtured with wisdom and reverence. It requires listening to the body's signals, honoring the mind's need for clarity and allowing the heart to lead with courage and compassion, recognizing that the energy within is not something to control harshly but to flow with, like a river carving its way through the landscape of our existence. This energy teaches us about balance, showing that vitality is not about excess or aggression but about harmony. The dance between strength and softness, action and stillness, thought and feeling, and when we learn to move with this rhythm, we unlock potentials that ripple through every aspect of our lives, transforming challenges into opportunities and chaos into creation. It is this living force that enables us to face the world not as victims of circumstance but as creators of our destiny, infused with a dynamic energy that resists stagnation and embraces transformation. And so testosterone, far beyond its scientific definition, is the sacred fire that compels us to create, to rise, to live deeply and to embrace the unfolding mystery of life itself, holding mystery of awakening. So, where every moment pulses with the possibility of new beginnings and every breath carries the promise of vitality that flows eternally without end. It plays a crucial role in physical strength not merely by building muscle or increasing endurance, but by awakening a primal force that fuels the body's capacity to move, endure, and perform beyond the ordinary, and this power is deeply connected to the very structure of our being, influencing how we stand, how we breathe, and how we carry ourselves through the world with confidence and presence. The physical strength that supports is not simply brute force, but the grounded power that emerges when body and spirit align in purposeful action. Beyond the physical, it sharpens the mind with clarity and focus that cuts through confusion and distraction, allowing thought to flow with precision and creativity, and it fuels the intellectual fire that drives curiosity, problem solving, the ability to face complexity without being overwhelmed. This mental sharpness is a gift that enables us to navigate the ever-changing landscape of life with awareness and insight, awakening the deeper intelligence that lies within, ready to be tapped when needed most. At the same time, it cultivates emotional balance, gently steering us away from extremes of anxiety and despair, helping us to stand steady in the storms of life. And it grants the resilience to face inner turmoil with calm and grace, reminding us that strength is not found in rigidity but in the fluidity to adapt and respond wisely to the ebb and flow of feelings. Emotional balance born from this energy offers a doorway to deeper peace and compassion, allowing us to relate authentically to ourselves and others without losing our center. This triad, physical strength, mental sharpness, and emotional balance, is woven together by this subtle yet potent energy that animates our entire being, making it possible to live not as fragmented pieces but as a unified whole where body, mind, and heart move in harmony towards well-being and fulfillment. The presence of this force within is what shapes how we show up in the world, how we meet challenges, and how we nurture growth from within ourselves and in those around us. In the absence or imbalance of this energy, we find the seeds of struggle, weakness that saps the body, fog that clouds the mind, and storms that unsettle the heart. The loss is felt not only as a physical or mental ailment, but as a quiet dimming of the spirit's light that whispers to us that something essential is missing, a vital connection to the life force that makes us whole and alive. This delicate balance requires care and respect, as it is a living thread that weaves through every moment of our existence. To nourish this force is to honor the sacred dance of life itself, acknowledging that strength is not just about how much we can lift or how fast we can run, but how deeply we can hold ourselves with integrity in the face of adversity, how clearly we can perceive the world without distortion, and how gently we can carry the weight of our emotions without being crushed by them. It is a power that humbles us, showing that true mastery is not domination but harmony. When this force is tended with awareness, through movement, breath, rest and connection, it unlocks a reservoir of potential that elevates every dimension of life. And this potential is not static or limited but continuously flowing, always inviting us to greater heights of strength, clarity, and balance where each day becomes a new opportunity to embody the fullness of who we are meant to be. It teaches us that physical prowess, mental acuity, and emotional stability are not separate goals but intertwined expressions of the same inner vitality. Thus, it plays this crucial role not as a distant mechanism, but as the very essence of our living experience, quietly shaping how we grow, how we respond, and how we become in an unfolding process that carries us forward without end, moving through cycles of challenge and renewal, strength and softness, clarity and compassion without ever ceasing or concluding. The modern lifestyle with its relentless pace and endless demands pulls us away from the natural rhythms that once nurtured our vitality. And in this separation, a silent erosion begins within many, quiet fading of the vital energy that fuels strength, creativity and balance. We live surrounded by artificial lights, endless screens and constant noise, and this unnatural environment disrupts the delicate flow of energy inside, leaving the body and mind exhausted, drained and disconnected from the wellspring of life that sustains them. Invisible yet powerful force that has become a constant companion to so many acts like a slow poison that wears down the very essence of this energy, tightening the chest, clouding the mind and stirring turmoil in the heart. And when stress becomes chronic, it steals not just moments but the foundation of our inner power, leaving us vulnerable to fatigue, confusion and despair. The body reacts with tension and resistance, the mind with restless worry, and the heart with a growing sense of emptiness that no distraction can fill. In this relentless cycle, many lose sight of the simple truths that once anchored their lives, yeah. The quiet joy of movement, the healing touch of nature, the calming breath that reconnects us to ourselves. And as these gifts are forgotten or ignored, the vital energy begins to wane like a river running dry in a drought, leaving behind a landscape of diminished spirit and unfulfilled potential. The deeper currents of life that once sustained us are buried beneath layers of distraction and exhaustion. The decline is silent because it happens gradually, unnoticed at first, like a soft fading of color in a painting until the vibrancy is lost. And by the time the absence is felt, the connection to this energy seems distant and fragile. Many try to compensate with artificial stimulants, quick fixes, or endless busyness, but these only deepen the divide, masking the underlying depletion and making it harder to restore the natural flow that once brought strength and joy. What is lost in this process is not merely physical vigor, but the deeper harmony of body, mind and spirit, and the loss creates an inner imbalance that reflects outwardly in restless thoughts or emotions and a weakening of will, making it difficult to meet life's challenges with the clarity and resilience needed. The silent decline is a call to awaken, a signal that we have strayed too far from the roots that nourish the core of our being, and that a return to balance is essential, though it requires courage and commitment. The modern world, with all its advances and conveniences, has paradoxically become a landscape of disconnection where the vital energy within is starved for attention. And the remedy lies not in escaping this world, but in learning to live within it with greater awareness, breathing deeply, moving mindfully, resting fully and reconnecting with the natural cycles that cradle life. This journey back to vitality is not easy, for it asks us to slow down, to face the discomfort of stillness, and to remember the forgotten language of our own bodies and hearts. Yet, even in this decline, there is hope, because the vital energy is not lost forever. It is dormant, waiting beneath the surface, ready to be rekindled by intention, care and presence. And as we begin to nurture this energy once more, it flows again like a river returning after winter. Restoring strength, clarity and balance in a continuous unfolding that carries us toward wholeness without end, flowing through every moment, every breath and every heartbeat, inviting us to rise anew without ever ceasing. Understanding this force requires us to look beyond the surface, beyond the mere labels and definitions, and to recognize it as a living, breathing energy that pulses within, shaping our strength, our will, and the very way we move through life. And when you approach it with awareness rather than judgment, we begin to see that suppressing it only dims the light of our vitality and fractures the harmony of our being. Respecting this energy means acknowledging its rightful place as a vital current that must be honored and tended, not buried beneath fear, shame or misunderstanding. Suppression is often born out of fear or societal expectations that tell us to contain, control or deny this powerful force. But in doing so, we create inner conflict, cutting ourselves off from the source of courage, passion and creativity that this energy offers. And this disconnection breeds frustration, restlessness, and a deep sense of imbalance that can ripple into every aspect of our lives. The more we try to silence this force, the louder it calls out through the body and mind, urging for recognition and integration rather than denial. True well-being arises not from repression but from harmony. From the delicate dance of listening to this force, understanding its rhythms, and channeling its energy with wisdom and care. And this requires a gentle yet courageous willingness to face what is within, to feel fully without judgment, and to allow the energy to flow freely without distortion or resistance. When we respect this force, it no longer becomes a source of conflict, but a source of vitality, grounding us in the fullness of our being. To respect this energy is to cultivate self-awareness, to observe how it moves within us, how it shapes our desires, our fears and our dreams, and to learn how to harness it constructively, rather than letting it spiral into chaos or suppression. Because true mastery is not control but understanding, and attunement to the subtle signals that guide us toward balance and wholeness. This respect invites us to live with integrity, where body, mind and heart are aligned in a flow that nourishes rather than depletes. When we honor this force, we also honor the natural cycles of life, recognizing that energy waxes and wanes, that moments of intensity must be met with moments of rest, and that true strength lies in this ebb and flow, not in constant exertion or And this respect teaches us patience and compassion for ourselves and others as we navigate the complexities of our own inner landscape. It is a journey of trust in the wisdom of the body and the intelligence of life itself. Suppressing this vital energy is like damming a river. It creates pressure, unrest and eventual rupture, while understanding it allows the river to flow freely, nourishing the land and all that depends on it. And in this flow, we find not only physical well-being but emotional clarity and mental peace that arise naturally when the energy is allowed to move without obstruction. This is the path to true health, where vitality is not forced but emerges from a deep connection to the source within. This respect is a practice, a daily choice to meet ourselves with kindness, to honor the currents that shape our existence, and to cultivate a relationship with this force that is based on curiosity, acceptance and love. And as we deepen this relationship, well-being unfolds as a living experience that carries us beyond survival into the fullness of life itself, moving through us and around us in an endless cycle of renewal and awakening, without ever reaching a final conclusion. The way we live our daily lives shapes the very currents of energy that flow within us, and this is true for testosterone, which responds deeply to the environment we create around ourselves, reflecting back the harmony or discord we hold inside. When life becomes rushed, filled with artificial distractions and disconnected from the natural world, the subtle balance of this vital force begins to shift, often slipping away quietly beneath the surface of awareness, leaving us unaware of the depletion taking place. Breathing, though often taken for granted, is the bridge between the outer world and our inner landscape, and the quality of our breath directly influences the flow of testosterone by regulating stress, calming the nervous system, and nourishing every cell with life-giving oxygen. When we breathe shallowly or erratically under pressure, this vital energy constricts and retreats. But when we learn to breathe deeply, consciously, and in tune with the rhythms of the earth, it opens the door to a fuller, richer expression of our inner strength and vitality. Connection with nature is not just a luxury but an essential thread in the fabric of life that supports the natural flow of testosterone. For the body remembers its origins in the earth, the sun and the sky. And when we immerse ourselves in natural surroundings, feeling the soil beneath our feet, the breeze on our skin, the warmth of the sun, we awaken a dormant energy that flows freely once again. This connection resets the body's internal clock, balances hormones and restores the vitality that modern life often suppresses or disrupts. The way we live also involves the choices we make about movement and rest, both of which profoundly impact the flow of this hormone. Physical activity rooted in joy and presence fuels the body's natural rhythms, while mindful rest allows for recovery and regeneration, and ignoring either leads to imbalance and depletion. Testosterone thrives in a body that is alive, active and cared for, responding to cycles of effort and ease that honor the natural laws of growth and healing. Our lifestyle, including diet, sleep and mental habits, further colors the landscape in which testosterone flows. For what we consume and how we rest either nourish or poison this delicate balance. And the mind, restless or peaceful, noisy or still, can either foster clarity or breed confusion, shaping how this energy expresses itself through the body and mind. Every choice echoes within, shaping the flow of life in ways we may not immediately see but feel deeply over time. Living in alignment with natural principles calls for awareness and attentiveness to the subtle signals of the body and the wisdom of the earth, reminding us that this hormone is not isolated in a lab but alive within a living organism influenced by the quality of air, light, water and soil, and by the emotional and mental climate we cultivate within ourselves. This holistic view invites us to reconsider what it means to be healthy and vital, urging us to embrace practices that foster connection rather than separation. When we honor these connections, we awaken a flow of testosterone that is vibrant, balanced and supportive of our fullest potential, not as a fleeting spike but as a steady current that nourishes strength, creativity and well-being, carrying us through the cycles of life with resilience and grace. And this flow is nurtured not by force but by harmony, by living in rhythm with the breath of the earth and the pulse of our own. Thus, the way we live, breathe and connect with nature becomes the living dance that shapes the natural flow of testosterone, weaving an intricate tapestry where every moment, every breath, every step nourishes this vital energy and carries it onward in a continuous unfolding of life that moves without end, flowing seamlessly between the inner and outer worlds, forever renewing itself without pause or conclusion.